Picture this moment with me. It's 3 a.m. and you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. Your mind won't let you rest because it's busy replaying a different version of your life. The job you didn't take, the person you let slip away, the dream you abandoned because it felt too risky, too uncertain, too impossible. You close your eyes, but behind your eyelids, you see yourself living these other lives. In one, you're confident, successful, exactly where you thought you'd be by now. In another, you're with someone who truly understands you, living in a place that feels like home. In yet another, you're pursuing that creative passion you buried under practical concerns and other people's expectations. These aren't just daydreams. They feel real, painfully, beautifully real. And in those quiet, vulnerable hours, a question whispers through your mind. What if I made the wrong choices? What if there's another version of me out there, living the life I was supposed to have? This feeling, this ache of infinite possibility, it's one of the most human experiences we share. The weight of our choices, the wonder about our paths not taken, the deep knowing that somehow, somewhere, other versions of our story are unfolding. Tonight, I want to take you on a journey through both the cosmos and the landscape of your own heart. Because what if I told you that modern physics suggests these other versions of you might actually exist? What if the multiverse isn't just science fiction, but mirror reflecting the deepest truths about choice, possibility, and the magnificent complexity of being human? We're going to explore 5 profound insights that bridge the gap between quantum mechanics and the quiet revolutions happening in your soul. Not to give you easy answers, but to offer you a new way of seeing, a way that transforms regret into wonder, uncertainty into adventure, and the burden of choice into the gift of infinite becoming. First, we'll discover how the branches of becoming reveal that every choice creates new universes, transforming regret about paths not taken into wonder about lives being lived in parallel dimensions. Second, we'll explore the observer's paradox, how your consciousness doesn't just witness reality, but actively creates it, making you both the scientist and the experiment in your own existence. Third, we'll uncover the quantum entanglement of hearts, how genuine connections transcend space and time, creating bonds that span dimensions and explain those inexplicable moments of recognition and deep knowing. Fourth, we'll embrace the uncertainty principle of dreams, why the clearer your vision becomes, the more uncertain the path must be, and how this uncertainty is actually your dream's greatest ally. Finally, we'll stand at the collapsing wave of now, understanding how this present moment is where infinite possibility crystallizes into reality, where you continuously participate in the cosmic act of creation itself. The universe, it turns out, might be far stranger and more beautiful than we imagined. And so might you. In the quantum realm, particles exist in what scientists call superposition, simultaneously in multiple states until they're observed. Every possibility exists at once, waiting. Schrodinger's cat is both alive and dead. Light is both wave and particle. And perhaps, just perhaps, you are both the person you are and all the people you could have been. This isn't about escaping your current reality or diminishing the choices you've made. This is about understanding that choice itself is the most cosmic force in existence. Every decision you make doesn't just change your life. It splits reality itself, creating new universes, new possibilities, new stories. The ancient mystics spoke of this in different words. They understood that consciousness is the great creator, that awareness shapes reality, that we are both the observer and the observed in the grand experiment of existence. So let's begin. Let's explore what it means to live in a universe where every choice matters infinitely, where parallel cells dance through dimensions we can barely comprehend, where the very act of choosing is an expression of the cosmos coming to know itself through you. Your story isn't a single thread. It's a tapestry woven from infinite threads across infinite dimensions. And tonight, we're going to learn to see the beauty in that complexity, the peace in that mystery, and the profound responsibility and freedom that comes with being a conscious choice maker in a universe of endless possibility. Are you ready to meet the cosmic significance of your most human moments? Let's dive in. Number 1, the branches of becoming. Here's something that might sound familiar. You're standing at a crossroads and you're paralyzed, not by the difficulty of the choice, but by the weight of it, because you know that whatever you choose, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering about the path you didn't take. Maybe it's choosing between safety and adventure, between love and ambition, between staying close to home or moving across the world for a dream. The paralysis comes from a deep knowing that you can't have it all, that choosing one thing means losing another, that life is a series of doors, and opening one offer means watching others close forever. This feeling of loss before you've even chosen, this grief for lives unlived, it's what poets have been trying to capture for centuries. Robert Frost stood in those yellow woods, knowing he'd be telling this story with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. We all do. But here's where the cosmos offers us a different perspective, a healing balm for the ache of limitation. In quantum mechanics, there's something called the many worlds interpretation. It suggests that every time a quantum event could go one way or another, the universe splits. Both outcomes happen, but in separate realities. Every possibility becomes actual somewhere. Picture this. Imagine your decision points as branches on an infinite tree. When you chose your career, the universe branched. One version of you became a teacher, another a musician, another an entrepreneur. When you decided to text that person back, or not to, reality divided again. In one universe, you're together. In another, you never spoke again. In countless others, every possible variation of that relationship plays out. The tree of your existence has billions of branches, each one representing a choice, each branch creating new universes where different versions of you experience different lives. This isn't just poetic metaphor. This is what leading physicists seriously propose might be the nature of reality itself. Hugh Everett III, who first proposed this interpretation, suggested that all possible alternate histories and futures are real. Each represents an actual world or universe. Now, I'm not asking you to believe this as literal truth, but I am inviting you to consider what this perspective does to the weight of your choices. If every possibility exists somewhere, then the version of you who took that other job, who stayed in that relationship, who moved to that city, they're all real. They're all living their lives right now in parallel dimensions. You didn't lose those possibilities. You just can't experience them all from this one vantage point. It's like being in a vast library with infinite books, each one a different story of your life. You can only read one at a time, but that doesn't mean the others don't exist. They're all there, all equally real, all equally valid expressions of who you are and who you could become. This perspective transforms regret into curiosity. Instead of I should have, it becomes I wonder how that version of me is doing. Instead of I made the wrong choice, it becomes I made one of many possible choices, and somewhere all of them are being lived. The burden of making the right choice lightens when you realize that perhaps there is no single right choice. Perhaps there are only choices, each one creating its own universe, its own story, its own perfect imperfection. And here's the beautiful paradox. Knowing that all possibilities exist makes this one, the reality you're living right now, more precious, not less. Because while other versions of you might exist in parallel dimensions, this version, this consciousness, this exact configuration of choices and experiences that is your life right now, this is yours to live fully. You are the author of this particular story, even as other versions of you author different stories elsewhere. And the same cosmic intelligence that splits universes also beats your heart, dreams your dreams, and wonders through your wondering. The branches of becoming are infinite, but you only have one branch to tend. How will you nurture it? How will you honor it? How will you live so fully in this reality that even if parallel selves are watching from across dimensions, they'd be proud of the story you're writing? The cosmos doesn't ask you to live all possible lives. It asks you to live this one with complete presence, knowing that in doing so, you're adding your unique note to the infinite symphony of existence. Number 2, the observer's paradox. You know that feeling when you catch yourself in the mirror unexpectedly, and for just a moment, you don't recognize the person looking back? Or when you're living your normal life, and suddenly you step outside yourself and think, how did I get here? How did I become this person making these choices in this life? It's a strange sensation, this ability to observe yourself observing, to be both the person living the experience and the consciousness watching that person live it. Sometimes it's unsettling, this split awareness, like you're both the actor and the audience in your own life story. We often dismiss these moments as just weird quirks of consciousness, but quantum physics suggests they might be glimpses into something far more profound. In quantum mechanics, there's a principle called the observer effect. It states that the very act of observation changes reality. When scientists try to measure a quantum particle, the measurement itself affects what they find. The particle's behavior actually depends on whether someone is watching. This isn't about the mechanics of measurement disturbing the system, though that happens too. This is deeper. It suggests that consciousness and reality are intimately connected in ways that challenge everything we thought we knew about the nature of existence. The famous double-slit experiment demonstrates this beautifully. When no one is watching, particles behave like waves, going through multiple slits simultaneously. But the moment a detector is placed to observe which slit the particle goes through, it behaves like a solid particle and chooses just one path. It's as if reality exists in a state of infinite possibility until consciousness collapses it into a specific experience. Now, let's bring this back to your life, to those moments when you suddenly become aware that you're aware. What if your consciousness isn't just passively observing your life, but actively creating it? What if the choices you make, the attention you pay, the stories you tell yourself about who you are, what if these acts of observation are literally collapsing infinite possibilities into your specific reality? Think about it. Before you pay attention to something in your life, it exists in a kind of quantum superposition. Your career could go in multiple directions. Your relationships hold countless possibilities. Your future is a cloud of potential outcomes. But the moment you truly observe, really look at where you are, what you want, who you're becoming, something shifts. Possibilities begin to crystallize. Paths become clearer. Reality starts organizing itself around your focused attention. This is why self-awareness can be both liberating and terrifying. Because once you see clearly, you can unsee. Once you observe your patterns, your unconscious choices, your automatic responses, once you really look, those patterns begin to change simply because they're being witnessed. Have you ever noticed how problems sometimes resolve themselves just from being fully acknowledged? How relationships shift when you really see them clearly? How opportunities appear when you're genuinely paying attention? You are not just living your life. You are observing it into existence moment by moment. But here's where it gets even more interesting. If the many worlds theory is correct, then there are infinite versions of you across parallel universes. But the version that becomes real for you, the reality you experience, depends on what you choose to observe, what you focus on, what you collapse from possibility into actuality through your attention. Your consciousness is like a spotlight in a dark theater filled with infinite possible plays. Wherever you shine that light, that's the drama that comes alive. That's the story that becomes real for you. This gives incredible power and responsibility to your awareness. Every time you choose to focus on gratitude rather than complaint, possibility rather than limitation, love rather than fear, You're not just changing your perspective, you're actively selecting which parallel universe you experience. The depressed version of you exists in universes where that consciousness predominates. The joyful version exists where joy is the primary observer. The confident version, the loving version, the creative version, they're all real, all possible, all waiting for your attention to bring them into your experience reality. This doesn't mean you can simply think positive thoughts and transform everything instantly, but it does mean that your consciousness is far more powerful than you might have imagined. You are not a passive victim of circumstances. You are an active participant in the creation of your reality. The observer's paradox teaches us that there is no neutral observation. Every time you look at your life, every time you become aware of your thoughts, feelings, and choices, you are participating in the fundamental creative process of the universe. You are both the scientist and the experiment, the questioner and the answer, the seeker and the sought. And in that recognition lies an invitation to observe your life with the reverence it deserves, knowing that your very attention is one of the most sacred and powerful forces in existence. Number 3, quantum entanglement of hearts. There's someone in your life. Maybe they're with you now, maybe they're far away, maybe they're no longer here at all. But when you think of them, something in your chest responds instantly, not just emotionally, but almost physically, as if some invisible thread connects your heart to theirs across any distance, any time, any circumstance. You feel it when they're hurting, even when they haven't told you. You think of them at the exact moment they're thinking of you. You dream of them on nights when they need comfort. There's a connection that seems to transcend the normal rules of space and time, cause and effect. We often explain this away as coincidence, as the brain's pattern-seeking, creating meaning where none exists. But what if there's something deeper happening? What if the invisible bonds between souls mirror one of the most mysterious phenomena in physics? Quantum entanglement is perhaps the strangest discovery in modern science. When two particles become entangled, they remain mysteriously connected no matter how far apart they travel. If you measure one particle and find it spinning clockwise, its entangled partner will instantly spin counterclockwise, even if it's on the other side of the galaxy. Einstein called this spooky action at a distance because it seems to violate the speed of light, the fundamental limit of how fast information can travel in our universe. Yet experiment after experiment confirms that entangled particles somehow share information instantaneously across vast distances. It's as if they're not really separate at all, but different expressions of a single, unified reality. Now, imagine this principle extended beyond particles to consciousness, to the deep connections between human beings. When you truly connect with someone, in love, in friendship, in those rare moments of genuine understanding, perhaps something similar to quantum entanglement occurs. Your consciousness becomes linked in ways that transcend physical separation. This might explain why mothers wake up knowing their children are in danger thousands of miles away, why longtime partners can sense each other's emotional states without a word, why you can walk into a room and immediately feel that something is different, even when nothing visible has changed. In parallel universe theory, every relationship exists in countless variations across infinite realities. In some universes, you and that person are strangers. In others, you're closer than you are now. In some, you never met at all. In others, you're experiencing a love that transcends anything you've known in this reality. But perhaps, through quantum entanglement of consciousness, you can sometimes feel echoes of these other relationships. Perhaps that inexplicable depth you feel with certain people isn't just chemistry or compatibility. It's the resonance of all the versions of your connection across multiple dimensions. Think about the people who've changed your life fundamentally. The teacher who said exactly what you needed to hear. The stranger who offered kindness at your darkest moment. The friend who appeared just when you felt most alone. the romantic connection that transformed how you see yourself and the world. These connections often feel like more than chance. They feel like destiny, like recognition, like coming home to something you didn't know you were missing. What if they are destiny in a sense? What if across infinite parallel universes, certain souls are meant to find each other, to entangle, to become part of each other's journey regardless of the specific circumstances? In some universes, that person is your life partner. In others, they're your mentor, your student, your friend, your child. The roles change, but the essential connection, the quantum entanglement of recognition, remains constant. This perspective transforms how we understand both love and loss. When someone important to you is no longer physically present in your life, the connection doesn't break. It continues across dimensions. The love you shared, the ways you change each other, the entanglement of your growth and healing, that's eternal. And when you're feeling isolated, remember that somewhere in the vast multidimensional tapestry of existence, there are versions of you surrounded by love, by understanding, by the very connections your heart longs for. That love is real, and to the mysterious quantum mechanics of consciousness, you can sometimes feel its warmth even here. But this isn't about escaping your current relationships or waiting for some perfect connection from another dimension. It's about recognizing the sacred nature of every genuine connection you experience. Every time you truly see someone and let yourself be seen, you're participating in the fundamental unity of all existence. You're creating quantum entanglement through vulnerability, through presence, through the courage to love despite uncertainty. The people in your life aren't accidents. The deep connections, the challenging relationships, the brief encounters that somehow change everything, they're all part of a cosmic choreography that spans dimensions. Your heart knows this. It recognizes souls it has loved across universes. It aches for connections that exist in parallel realities. And it opens again and again to the infinite possibility of entanglement, of recognition, of finding home in another's understanding. Trust that knowing. Trust those inexplicable connections. And remember that love is the universe's way of proving that separation is an illusion, that we are all part of one magnificent, entangled whole. Number 4, the uncertainty principle of dreams. You have a dream that sets your soul on fire. Maybe it's creative, writing a novel, starting a band, painting your vision of beauty onto canvas. Maybe it's purpose-driven, healing others, teaching children, solving problems that matter. Maybe it's adventurous, traveling to places that call your name, building something from nothing, living a life that feels authentically yours. But here's the cruel paradox. The more clearly you can see the dream, the more uncertain the path becomes. The more you want it, the less you know how to get there. The more it matters to you, the more terrifying it becomes to actually pursue it. So you find yourself caught in this impossible space between burning desire and paralyzing uncertainty. You want to know, will it work? Will I fail? Will I waste years of my life chasing something impossible? Will I regret not trying or regret trying and falling short? You want guarantees in a universe that seems to offer none. This tension between clarity of vision and uncertainty of outcome, it's not just a personal struggle. It's written into the very fabric of reality itself. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle is one of the foundational insights of quantum mechanics. It states that you cannot simultaneously know both the exact position and the exact momentum of a particle. The more precisely you measure where something is, the less you can know about where it's going. The more you know about its motion, the less certain you can be about its location. This isn't a limitation of our measuring instruments. This is a fundamental feature of reality. Uncertainty isn't a bug in the cosmic operating system. It's a feature. Now, let's apply this to your dreams, your ambitions, your deepest longings. When your vision is crystal clear, when you can see exactly what you want to create or become, the path to get there becomes inherently uncertain. The more vivid your dream, the more unknowable the journey. But here's the beautiful paradox. When you're moving with momentum, when you're actively pursuing your purpose with energy and commitment, the destination often becomes fluid, changeable, surprising. The dream you thought you wanted transforms into something even better than you imagined. The goal you were chasing reveals itself to be a doorway to possibilities you never considered. This uncertainty isn't the enemy of your dreams. It's their greatest ally. Think about every major breakthrough in your life. Did any of them happen exactly as you planned? The job that changed everything probably came through an unexpected connection. The relationship that transformed you probably began in a way you never could have scripted. The opportunity that shifted your trajectory probably appeared disguised as something else entirely. In parallel universe theory, there are infinite versions of you pursuing your dreams in infinite ways. In some, you follow the logical path and achieve modest success. In others, you take wild risks and either fail spectacularly or exceed your wildest expectations. In countless variations, your dream evolves, transforms, becomes something you couldn't have originally conceived. But here's what's consistent across all realities. The versions of you who honor the uncertainty, who move forward despite not knowing the outcome, who trust the process even when they can't see the destination. These are the versions who create lives of meaning, adventure, and authentic fulfillment. The uncertainty isn't something to overcome. It's something to embrace. It's a space where magic happens, where synchronicities align, where the universe can surprise you with gifts you didn't know to ask for. When you accept that you can't know both the dream and the path with absolute clarity, you free yourself to focus on what you can control. Your next step, your daily practice, your willingness to remain open to unexpected possibilities. The uncertainty principle of dreams teaches us that faith isn't believing everything will work out exactly as planned. Faith is trusting that by moving toward what calls you, you'll be guided to where you need to be, even if it's not where you thought you were going. Every successful creative, entrepreneur, leader, or change maker has navigated this uncertainty. They've all stood at the edge of the unknown and chosen to step forward anyway, not because they knew it would work, but because they trusted the calling more than they feared the uncertainty. Your dream exists in that quantum space between vision and unknown path. And that's exactly where it should be. Because dreams that come with guaranteed outcomes aren't really dreams. They're just plans. And plans, however well-crafted, can compete with the universe's capacity for surprise, for serendipity, for gifts that exceed your imagination. So let your vision be clear and your path be uncertain. Let your momentum carry you into the unknown. Trust that somewhere in the infinite parallel universes, there's a version of you who took that leap, who embraced the uncertainty, who discovered that the journey was even more beautiful than the destination. That version of you is calling across dimensions, whispering, "Jump." The universe will catch you in ways you can't imagine. The uncertainty isn't your enemy. It's your invitation to participate in the miracle of creation itself. Number 5, the collapsing wave of now. Right now, as you're reading these words, you exist in the most mysterious moment in all of physics, the present. It's so familiar that we take it for granted, yet so strange that philosophers and scientists have puzzled over it for centuries. The past feels solid, real, unchangeable. The future stretches ahead full of possibility and potential. But the present, this exact instant, is like a razor's edge between what was and what could be. It's where possibility becomes reality, where the abstract becomes concrete, where the universe makes its choices about what gets to exist. You live your entire life in this razor's edge, yet most of the time you're either remembering yesterday or planning tomorrow. You're rarely fully here, in this moment where all the action actually happens. But what if I told you that this moment, this now, is where you wield your greatest power as a conscious being in a multiverse of infinite possibility? In quantum mechanics, Particles exist in what's called a wave function, a mathematical description of all their possible states simultaneously. An electron doesn't have a definite position or momentum. It exists as a cloud of probability, a wave of potential outcomes. But when that wave function is observed or measured, something remarkable happens. It collapses. All the possibilities instantly reduce to one specific reality. The electron is suddenly here, moving this way, with these properties. This collapse of the wave function from infinite possibility to single reality happens continuously, billions of times per second, creating the stable world of our experience from the quantum chaos of pure potential. And here's what's beautiful. You are both the observer collapsing reality and the wave function being collapsed. You exist as infinite potential until the moment you choose, the moment you act, the moment you bring your attention fully into now. Every second, you're faced with countless micro-choices. What to think, what to feel, what to notice, what to ignore, how to respond. In parallel universe theory, every possible choice creates a new branch of reality. But in your experience, in this timeline, this dimension, this life, only one choice gets actualized. The present moment is where that actualization happens. It's where infinite parallel selves collapse into singular you that exists here and now. Think about those pivotal moments in your life when everything seemed to hang in the balance. The conversation that could go a dozen different ways. The decision that could change everything. The moment when you could choose fear or courage, love or protection, truth or safety. In those moments, you can almost feel the weight of parallel universes pressing around you. You sense all the different directions your life could go, all the different versions of yourself you could become. And then you choose, and the wave function of your existence collapses into one specific reality. The conversation goes one way. The decision is made. The moment passes into history. But here's what we often miss. This isn't just happening in those big, dramatic moments. It's happening constantly. Every instant is a collapsing wave function. Every moment of attention is you selecting which parallel universe to experience. When you choose to focus on gratitude instead of complaint, you collapse the wave function into a reality where abundance becomes more visible. When you choose presence over distraction, you actualize a version of yourself that's engaged with life. When you choose love over fear, you shift into the universe where connection is possible. This is why presence is so powerful. This is why mindfulness traditions have always emphasized the importance of now. Not because the past and future don't matter, but because now is where you have agency. Now is where you collaborate with the universe in the continuous creation of reality. The past already collapsed into specific outcomes. The future exists as pure potential. But right now, this breath, this heartbeat, this moment of awareness, this is where you get to participate in the cosmic miracle of possibility becoming reality. Most of your parallel selves are probably living unconsciously, letting their wave functions collapse randomly, letting circumstances and conditioning determine which reality they experience. But you have another option. You can become conscious of the collapse. You can bring awareness to this eternal now and participate intentionally in selecting which universe you inhabit moment by moment. This doesn't mean you control everything that happens to you, but it does mean you have influence over which aspect of reality you tune into, which possibilities you give your attention to, which version of yourself you choose to be in each emerging instant. The collapsing wave of now is always available to you. In any moment, regardless of your circumstances, you can return to this edge between possibility and reality, and remember, you are not just experiencing life. You are continuously creating it through the choices you make in the eternal present. Every breath is a new universe being born. Every heartbeat is another wave function collapsing into existence. Every moment of conscious attention is you participating in the most fundamental creative force in the cosmos. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe becoming aware of itself, choosing itself, creating itself anew in each sacred now. Let's gather these insights together like stars forming a constellation, each one illuminating a different aspect of the same profound truth. You exist at the intersection of infinite possibility and singular choice, where consciousness meets cosmos, where the deeply personal touches the universally sacred. We began with the branches of becoming, the recognition that every choice creates new universes, that all possibilities exist somewhere, that regret can transform into wonder when we understand we're not missing other lives, but living one of many possible lives fully. We explored the observer's paradox, how your consciousness doesn't just witness reality, but actively participates in creating it, how awareness itself collapses possibility into experience, how the very act of paying attention shapes what becomes real for you. We discovered the quantum entanglement of hearts, how genuine connections transcend physical separation, how love creates bonds that span dimensions, how the people who change us might be souls we've known across countless parallel realities. We embrace the uncertainty principle of dreams, how clarity of vision and certainty of path cannot coexist, how the unknown isn't an obstacle to overcome, but a sacred space where magic happens, where trust becomes a bridge between aspiration and actualization. And we stood the collapsing wave of now, recognizing that this present moment is where infinite possibility crystallizes into singular reality, where you continuously participate in the cosmic act of creation through your choices, your attention, your presence. These aren't separate insights, but facets of one diamond truth. You are both human and cosmic, both limited and infinite, both seeking and sought. You are consciousness exploring itself through the lens of individual experience in a universe of endless becoming. Your choices matter not because they determine some final destination, but because they are how the universe experiences its own infinite creativity. Your dreams matter not because they guarantee specific outcomes, but because they are the cosmos calling you toward greater expressions of your authentic self. Your relationships matter not because they complete you, but because they reveal the interconnected nature of all existence. The parallel universes aren't somewhere else. They're here, now, in every moment of choice, in every act of awareness, in every opening of your heart to what's possible. You don't need to travel to other dimensions to access other versions of yourself. You need only to choose consciously, love fully, dream boldly, and remain present to the miracle that you are both the experiencer and the experience itself. This is your invitation to live as both human and cosmic citizen, to make choices knowing they ripple across dimensions, to love knowing that connection transcends space and time, to dream knowing that uncertainty is the birthplace of magic, and to be present knowing that now is where all possibilities converge into the singular miracle of your existence. You are not lost in the multiverse. You are the multiverse discovering itself through your unique perspective, your irreplaceable consciousness, your absolutely necessary contribution to the infinite dance of becoming. As we reach the end of our journey together through the cosmos of possibility, I want to leave you not with answers, but with a question that has the power to transform how you see yourself and your place in this magnificent, mysterious universe. It's a question that bridges the gap between quantum physics and the quiet revolutions of your daily life. A question that honors both your humanity and your cosmic significance. Here it is. If you knew that every choice you make creates a new universe, that every moment of awareness shapes reality itself, that every connection you form spans dimensions beyond imagining, that every dream you pursue contributes to the infinite creativity of existence, and that every present moment is a collaboration between your consciousness and the cosmos. If you truly knew this in your bones, in your breath, in the depth of your being, how would you choose to live today? Not tomorrow, not when everything is perfect, not when you have all the answers. Today, this moment, this breath, this heartbeat in eternal now, where infinite possibility waits for your next choice. The multiverse is listening. Your parallel selves are watching. The cosmos is dreaming through your consciousness. What universe will you create?